Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, aka BGFH, and I am back for another video. This time we're doing something a little bit different again. Going to give you a channel update. There's a couple things I want to quick let you know on what's going to happen on the channel the next couple of months, because I have a few ideas for stuff that is coming up. And then the main topic for this video is also going to be, I get asked this in the comments quite frequently, actually. I've been asked it on Twitter a couple times and in the comments for several videos. I get asked, how do I record the videos? How do I capture gameplay footage? How do I capture iOS footage? And I am going to answer that question for you today. So I'm going to let you guys know kind of what software I use and just how I sort of go about capturing, all kinds of stuff from, desktop applications like I'm doing now, games and virtual reality, mobile stuff like iOS. I would do Android. If I had something Android, I could also mirror that too. But anyway, before we get to that, couple of quick channel updates here. I just recently launched, Steam they've done away with the green light and some of the old ways that the community system used to work, with the old way that the curator system used to work. I don't really know how it used to work because I would never really bother to look into the curation stuff all that much. I had thought about becoming a curator, but I didn't know if it was really open to anyone at the time. But this time, Steam has revamped some of their community things, like for groups and curators and things like that. So I have decided that I would make a Steam group, and also within that group I would also provide kind of a Steam curator list of some games that are pretty accessible for blind or visually impaired gamers, and also games that feature blind characters. So we are looking at my Illegally Cited Steam group page right now, and I have a little bit more tools because I'm the group admin, obviously. But basically, you just look up Illegally Cited on Steam. There's also a shortcut. If I turn magnifier on here for you guys, for if you're low vision, see we got the Illegally Cited, and then we have I_S_YouTube. When you create the channel, they want you to create kind of like an abbreviation or some kind of like a shorter thing for it. So the whole thing, you look up Illegally Cited, all one word, and the short version of it is I_S_YouTube. You can find it probably either way. Now, again, the problem with Steam that is frustrating for myself and any other blind and low vision gamer is that the Steam client, all the updates that Valve is claiming to do for Steam, accessibility just doesn't seem to be a priority for them, does it? You can access, and you can do this, like if you want to join the group, not necessarily through Steam, you can go to steampower.com, register and log in, and you can access all of Steam's, basically the community features, and you can buy games and stuff under your account. And then when you launch the Steam client, all you have to be able to do is get it downloaded or, get the game launched. But I really, really, really hope that Valve actually does something with screen reader accessibility, because it's long overdue. I've written to them about it. I'm sure other people have written about it. You see all these other companies, especially Microsoft, just killing it in the accessibility for gaming area right now. Sony's doing some stuff. Nintendo needs to get its head out of its butt too and do something. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know that there is a Steam group and a curator list. So, the Steam group, there's like a little chat thing. I can post updates. The curator part is kind of interesting because what that allows me to do, like I said, it's where I can feature games, and I'm not going to put all the games that I cover on the Illegally Cited YouTube channel here. If you just go to my profile, BGFH on Steam, there I do link to at least all the Steam games that I've covered on the channel. But this curation list, I'm limiting it to games that are either fully accessible to a blind player, and there are a few of them. There are things like the Karateka game. Well, let's look at my list here. Down the right-hand side, there are games. You've got a blind legend. That one is totally accessible. We've got Beyond Eyes, which is not accessible, but it features a blind character. Grail to the Thief, which is, I've covered that game on the channel. That is totally accessible to a blind player. Ian's Eyes, that one is not accessible, but again, it features a blind character. Karateka is fully accessible, actually pretty fun. Then you got games like Mortal Kombat X, and Mortal Kombat Complete, basically Mortal Kombat 9. Those are great. Perception. So there's a mixture of games that are totally accessible, that feature blind characters, but I also have things that feature really well for low vision. So games to me that stand out like that are Saints Row 3 and 4. I've already talked about those games on the channel where, because of the way they don't make you look at the mini map. They have that in-world navigation in an open world game like that. Huge, very helpful. I found an old save file just recently for Red Faction Guerrilla, so I would love to do a video on that game because that is another open world game that it's not your typical city dwelling open world game. You're on Mars and there's craziness happening and it's all about destruction and it's pretty freaking great. So there's some stuff here. But those are my areas, and I'm going to focus on basically those two things. Really good games that feature for low vision. Again, like Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 are also good ones because of the the outlines that they do for the weapons, items, and characters. I've talked about that in other videos. So things like that. I'm not going to cover most of the games in the curator list, but it's going to be covering, like I said, the standout games that are either really good for low vision, really good for blind, or that feature a blind character, and they may be good or bad, because I really didn't care for Beyond Eyes that much. Neat ideas, but kind of boring. But it's worth featuring because, again, people, a blind or low vision audience, they want to learn about games that, that may have characters that are like them, So those are kind of things that I'm doing on the Steam group and the Illegally Cited group and the curator list. So that is an update on that. I just finally got everything set up with the curation stuff this past weekend. So there were some requirements that you had to do as part of the group before you could be allowed to start curating. So please, one is a lonely number here. I'm the only member right now. So, feel free to join. Like I said, you can do this accessibly through the Steam-powered website with the Steam account. So, if you do have a Steam account, or if you want a Steam account or whatever, please feel free to join. And you can, comment or whatever and just see what happens here. Hopefully it takes off. But I, wanted to tie everything together. We got the Twitter at BGFH79. We've got the YouTube channel here, and we've got the Steam group and curator list now. So that's an update on that. I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. So upcoming videos. I've recorded a lot of videos already. I've had some recorded for quite some time, and I've got several videos of different types already recorded. And I think I have a general rough plan for a few things that I want to do. So there's been a lot of different things. In July, we did our month of perception. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I gave you some bonus videos in addition to the regular Wednesday, Saturday videos. And the Tuesday, Thursday ones, I would go through an episode of perception. the cool horror game starring the blind character, the blind lady Cassie. And as I'm recording this, the last video in that series will be posted tomorrow, unlocked for you guys tomorrow. So definitely, if you haven't caught up on that, if you haven't watched it, it is there's a whole there's a playlist for the Let's Play Perception. So go back and check that out. It's pretty sweet. August, what I'm going to do, there's been a lot of titles, and I've thought about covering it in some fashion over a while, but a lot of them are so short that I really didn't know if I was going to bother. And then I thought, August, that'd be a good time to do it. And I came up with this idea that, so there's been a lot of titles in VR, more specifically the Oculus Rift, because that's what I have. And, one of the showcases that people have for VR is, let's make some roller coasters. Let's make some, and then there's also some sort of like mini game kind of theme park type experiences where, your, what do you call them? Like carnival games type things. So what I've done is I've recorded several of these videos that have come out. I've several different roller coasters and kind of a couple of thrill rides. And then I have one for sure, one really pretty cool, actually, kind of carnival games-esque VR thing. So August, I think, is going to be like a VR theme park. So maybe for Tuesday and Thursdays in August, you'll get usually a pretty short video, probably under 5-10 minutes long, just showcasing some different VR roller coasters, thrill rides, and then the longer one being the carnival games sort of collection. Because that's everyone's going to vacations and summer theme parks and all kinds of stuff there. So I thought, well, that would be a good little kind of a little playlist for you guys, something different. Show off some VR content and, tie it into a certain time of the year. And then I'm going to, whatever else it's going to be, do my those will probably be, again, I'm just trying to keep things interesting, especially since those videos are going to be short, maybe do those Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then Wednesday, Saturday will be just your typical, mixture of stuff, low vision, blindness, apps, stuff, whatever happens, you never know what will be released then. I have a couple of apps or a couple of videos that I think I'm going to try to do when it comes closer to the end of August for returning back to school, because there's a couple of videos that I've recorded that I think that would be a good time to release those, kind of, again, keeping with sort of a theme anyway. Not going to tell you what those are. You just have to wait and see. Then, September. More than likely, we're probably going to get some sort of either September or October. God only knows at this rate. Probably going to get another Apple event of some sort that's coming up. So, for the iPhone 7 Plus or 7S or 8 or 9 or 12 or whatever the hell they're going to call it. Whatever 13 iterations they're going to release. Probably check that stuff out, especially with iOS. There's, I was not hyped about iOS 11 after the WWDC keynote at all. I thought they did a kind of a really bad job of presenting, like making that sound interesting. I wasn't hyped about it at all. I have actually been playing with the public beta of iOS 11, and assuming they get rid of some of the voice-over accessibility bugs that are kind of in the beta version right now, which they usually do, there's actually some really cool stuff in iOS 11. There's some really cool stuff coming. But due to NDA, and I don't want to get myself in trouble, you're just going to have to wait, and I will talk about that at a later point. So we have that kind of stuff. And then, tying into iOS 11, remember that 32-bit applications are going to be going away in iOS 11. So I have to preserve a couple of my all-time favorite games. I have already recorded full Let's Plays for The Nightjar and Papa Sangre 1. Those are uploaded, they're recorded, they just need to be unlocked for you guys. So I'm thinking that'll either be in September or October. I have not done the Papa Sangre 2. I've started it, but there's a problem with the recording software. I get a serious amount of audio lag that makes some of the levels virtually unplayable. Like, the only way I'm able to beat them is to basically get really lucky. When I plug a wired headphone into my phone directly, I can get through the section with little trouble at all. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to preserve Papa Sangre 2. And audio defense, if I can get time, and if I don't have any recording issues, I would like to at least finish the campaign and maybe do a Let's Play for the campaign for audio defense, because Dr. Bastard is quite the humorous individual, and I have not actually beaten that yet, so I would love to see that the full playthrough of that game myself, because I want to see what the final levels are. So I don't know if I'm going to get to that or not, but at least Papa Sangre 1 and the Nightjar are in the bag. You'll see those eventually. So there is that. We got that stuff coming. And I'm sure there'll be a plethora of horror games. There's actually games that I've had recorded for a long time that I can release kind of for the month of October, being the Halloween month. Usually try to do a few horror games in there somewhere. And just everything else that will randomly come out. I'm sure there will be other stuff. I'm not going to do Tuesday, Thursday videos all the time. It just so happens that the last month or two, I've had other ideas for supplement videos, and I've got so much other stuff recorded that I can afford to do it. More than likely we will probably ramp back down to Wednesday and Saturday videos again here fairly shortly. But yeah, a lot of content coming to the channel. So definitely a lot more variety. I'd love to do more Access Unlocked. There's a couple other Geek Loot Spotlight videos I really should do. Haven't done one of those in eons, so you never know. Anyway, that is enough update about my channel. On to my recording. So like I said, one of the questions that I get asked all the time is, how do I record my how do I record my computer screen? How do I record game footage? How do I record iOS? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward, actually. It is a program called Bandicam that I use for the most part. I used to use Fraps, but when I updated to Windows 10, I don't know what happened. I guess some people can get Fraps to work under Windows 10. I have not been one of them. It has not liked me. So I ended up having to look for an alternative, and luckily I found Bandicam, and I really like it. Let's turn our magnifier on again so you guys can see. If you're low vision, you can see here. When you run the program, you get this little window in the middle of your screen, which I'll get to in just a second. But then at all times, you have this little bar across the top of the screen. And right now you see there's a stop and a pause button up there because I'm, of course, recording. There's just a simple hotkey. I think by default it's F12. But I had to change that because it conflicted, I want to say, with the, what was it? I think it was the screenshot button of Steam. So I changed mine to F9. So all I got to do is hit F9, record, F9, stop. That's it. I can change, so we got like down the left, and then on our main window here, you have a couple different categories of what you can record. So you can record in game mode, which you have to be in a full screen game, I think, for that to actually work. I don't record that way because there are games where when you get to a loading screen, it will, it'll kind of flicker to the desktop for a second, or it'll do something goofy with this display that if you're recording in game mode, it just doesn't, like, it'll just kick you out or it'll stop the video prematurely. So I never really record in that anymore. I just typically do the full desktop mode, meaning that no matter if I'm on a desktop application, in game, whatever, hit F9, we're good to go. You know, we can just record anything that is basically visible on the screen. You got some other options here. I don't really play with a lot of the extra options. I kind of get things set up the way I want to, and I just go. I can set a recording path so that when I finish a video, it's just dumped into, in this case, my old Fraps directory that I used to put stuff in. So I just left it there, and that's where I save all the videos, and then I upload them just on the... I used to use Windows Movie Maker to upload to YouTube, but that process I've talked about before a while ago on an earlier update. That process went kind of haywire, so I just do it directly through the YouTube website and just upload a video from there. So, you know, I can change the path. I got a whole bunch of different options, like do I want it to start automatically? Do I want to have it run always on top? Well, you know, just your typical other stuff here. Now, one thing I always do change a lot is I can go to Advanced here, and then I get a whole bunch of different things for... The main thing that I play with here is under the Advanced here. What I do is I change the audio source, because what happens is, depending on most content, I'm going to be using my default setup, my Turtle Beach headphones and microphone. But if I'm recording VR content through the Rift, it doesn't work that way. So I have to go under here, go under my options, and then I have a combo box or a drop-down box for changing the what speakers I want recorded, or what audio output I want recorded, and what microphone. So I change my default audio, my Turtle Beach or my Realtek. I change that to my Oculus Rift headset, and then the microphone I also changed to the Rift microphone. So that's why, you know, even when I talk in the Oculus videos, it probably sounds a little bit different because I'm using a different microphone. It's not bad though. That's really about it. I mean, there, you know, down the left-hand side, there's some other tabs here, you know, for like screenshots and video and output. I don't even play with all this stuff all that much. I think video is where I change my keyboard shortcut for, you know, from F10 or F12 to F9 or something like that. But basically, once I have everything set up, I just hit F9, record, F9, stop, and we're good. Change my audio source depending on what I'm recording, and we're good there. So that's basically how I record most things. If I have to record iOS, or if I get an Android device, because this program supports both, not only do I have Bandicam running, and I still use that to record, but then I launch another program called Reflector 2. And Reflector 2 is a little program that I have running in my system tray down here. And it just basically, it turns your computer into an AirPlay server, or basically a Google Chromecast server. And you can, so when I go to AirPlay, I can just make it work. I go to my iPhone or my iPad, and I go to my control center here. I swipe up from the bottom. I see my computer in the list, and there we go. We're looking at my phone. There we go. And I can do the same thing with my iPad. And the nice thing is, if I wanted to, and I've done this in one or two videos, I can also do multiple devices at once. So if I wanted to show you an app, what the differences were on the iPhone versus iPad, I could AirPlay both of them, and I could have the iPad on the left, the iPhone on the right, or vice versa. I can just hit Control W to quit. Boom, we're back to our desktop. So we've disconnected from my phone. And that's really it. So, basically I run both Bandicam and Reflector 2. And then if I want to record iOS, I just connect via AirPlay. Wait until I see my phone appear, or my iPad appear, and then I hit F9 to trigger Bandicam to start recording, and away we go. That's it. It's really, you might have a little bit of, initial troubleshooting as far as you want to make sure that your microphone levels are right. You want to make sure that, just record a little bit of, a minute or two video, try some different things with both your microphone and your, your computer's audio. For a while, what I used to have to do, I used to have to open up my volume mixer, and I basically have it pinned to my taskbar, so that if I need to change anything, I can just, in my case, it's the fourth one in, so I hit Windows 4, boom, I bring up my volume mixer. And what I would used to have to do is I would have to turn down my game audio, because otherwise it would be insanely loud and it would way overpower my voiceover, or me talking. So that's what I used to have to do. And then, I don't know, 6 months ago or better, for some reason I didn't have to do that anymore. It just, for most games, it just kind of mixed the way it was supposed to. And I haven't had to do that as much. So that, again, that's just something if you're thinking about doing something like this, you figure out what programs you want to use, and then you have to kind of tinker with it a little bit. Find out what audio levels you like. Try recording a few different things, test things just to see how they sound. And yeah, that's, there's I don't really do much editing. I've done a few splicing little video clips together. I fixed up one or two other minor things in Windows Movie Maker, but I don't even really know how to edit video for the most part. And I know I could, I don't have the artistic background to make like an intro to every movie, like in a sitcom you have, every episode has, like a intro song and whatever. I don't have the artistic skill to do something like that. So I just kind of do like a cold, just like a basic, hey, welcome back to Illegally Sighted, blah, 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 that I do every video. Start it the kind of same way, introduce what we're talking about. And then I like the informal style, show things as they are. I don't really like highly processed video in a way. I don't like video that is really, I'm just going to show you the absolute best of everything, as it were in the as it would be in the ideal world. And like I said, once I saw Giant Bomb, I really got a lot of inspiration from them originally, and then what a lot of people end up doing on YouTube as well. But I like the Giant Bomb quick looks because, they just go through, they show the game. If they have problems, they get lost, they don't know where to go in the game, you find that out. If the game crashes, we've seen that on a few quick looks before. And I've had a few problems like that in a couple of videos myself. What was it, the Bubsy 2 for video? That was a train wreck. But things like that. So I kind of like to do more of the raw, like, hey, you want to see how things actually are? I'm going to show it to you right away. I'm not going to like sugarcoat it or whatever. I'll tell you if it's good. I'll tell you if it's bad. I don't get paid to do this. I have a full-time job. I'm just doing this because, I don't know, I just got into it and I found that I like doing it. So, and people are subscribing, so I'm doing it. I don't get free games. Or I don't, at least so far. If I did, I would tell you. I would definitely make that clear in a video to say, hey, company gave me a code for this game or whatever. But I have not done that, everything, like I said in other videos, the only games I've ever gotten are maybe a couple of games that got gifted to me from Jawbreaker, and I buy him games back. So it's essentially, no, everything that you see on this channel, hardware, software, games, I've paid for myself. Might be on sale, but I've paid for it. What else? Bandicam Reflector 2. Bandicam is about $40 for a one user license. You just go to bandicam.com. There you go, bandicam.com. There is a demo, but I think it's really limited. I think you can only record like so many minutes or something, and there's a watermark in the video. But $40, compared to something like Camtasia or something, which is like $300, not bad. And it's been very, very reliable. There's been a couple games that I haven't been able to record, but mostly I've been able to record pretty much everything I've wanted to with the combination of Bandicam, and then I'm really glad that I found Reflector 2 after that XREC app disappeared a few years ago for iOS. But that, Reflector 2, I don't even remember how much it is. It's not that expensive. I want to say $20 to $40 somewhere in there. It might be a little more, but I honestly can't remember. It's totally reasonable though. It's not expensive. One thing I will say about Reflector, it's not the most accessible for screen readers. You might be able to JAWS cursor it. NVDA, I can try to launch NVDA here and show you.
Unknown. Bandicam dialog D. Fraps disable. Pane.
Yeah, see, I can't tab through it. Unfortunately, so if you have, if you're totally blind, Bandicam may not be the solution for you. If you are low vision,
Desktop.
It works beautifully because it's pretty straightforward.
Fraps disable.
Yeah, see, for the most part, I can't even mouse over it, so it's still kind of that same thing. I wish I could tell you that it were accessible, but I do want to let you know up front that I've tried it with different screen readers. I don't have JAWS on here because I just don't want to deal with the whole video intercept thing if I don't have to. So I'm primarily using NVDA and Magnifier and System Access. So I haven't tried Bandicam with JAWS, but I don't know if it would work or not. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about recording that people have asked. I've covered how I do the recording, use Bandicam, the reflector thing, kind of my style and how I record. Like I said, I keep things really simple. I should really learn to do more, professional editing should I need to. But I've done this long enough to where I feel much more comfortable just talking. I don't have a script or anything. I just kind of go, like I have an idea in mind what I want to say, what things I want to talk about, or like if I'm going to cover a game, I'll okay, I want to cover the beginning because it's crazy. And then if I have a save file for a certain point, I'll want to cover that. But so I'll have an idea, and I'll just kind of go with it. I've gotten fairly decent at improvising and just kind of going with whatever happens. Again, I don't like things super scripted. I am going to read from a script. This is what I like about this game. This app is not very accessible. It is not good. I just see too many videos like that from even from major sites. Like a lot of them you can tell they're YouTube videos. They record the video, but then the voiceover is just them reading their print or their text article that they have on their website. So it's like, I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to hear that. I mean, that's why people hate PowerPoints. That's why I hate PowerPoints for the most part.
NVDA menu.
So
Exit NVDA.
That's kind of how I do it. I don't get near as complicated as most people do. I mean, it's really, really basic. Like I said, when I upload, I do it in Chrome because what I don't like is IE crashes all the frickin' time, and I've been places where I've done I've been in the middle of uploading and then I'll be doing something else and then the browser will just crap itself and then I'm like, oh man, I just lost like 45 minutes of an upload and it just gets messed up. So what I do is I go to, in the upper right, there's a little up arrow for upload. I click on that and then I choose, there's like an arrow thing up here for upload. Before I do that, I usually go here and I click on private, because I upload things before I release them to you guys. Like I said, I have a ton of videos that you guys haven't even seen yet, but I've recorded. So I choose private so that I can upload them and get them off of my hard drive. And then once I upload them, like I said, then I go in here, I put in the title, the description, the tags, all that kind of stuff. And then, that's how I do it. And then I just go to like the channel, and we're currently, hey, all right, 775. Let's hit 800. Sweet. We're 3/4 of the way there as far as 700 to 800. Then I just go to my video manager and I kind of look through and be like, well, I kind of, like I said, I try to mix things up a little bit. I try to do an iOS game. I try to do a PC game. I try to do an accessible game. I try to do, a variety of different content. So you have all that kind of stuff out there. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially how I do it. And then once I unlock a video for you guys, what I do is I add it to an existing or create a new playlist. So, I created the Let's Play Perception playlist, or I add it to a low vision spotlight, or iOS accessible app spotlight, or whatever it happens to be, kickstarted, hardware review, whatever. So you can always, like I said, if you like a certain type of video, you can always go to my playlist section, and pretty much every video that I've ever done should be in one of these playlists that you can check out. So that should give you guys an inside look kind of at my basic, what would I want to even call it, technique for the way that I do YouTube stuff. It's pretty raw, pretty basic, but it gets the job done, I'm not doing it, I'm not hoping to be, yeah, it'd be cool to get a whole bunch of subscribers and whatever and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to be looking to support myself exclusively. I'm not going to quit my job and be a professional YouTuber. I just I'm not going to do that. I'm just doing it kind of just because I'm interested in the topics that I'm interested in, and people seem to be catching on and following it too. So, hey, why not? I've been asked a couple times, are you going to monetize your videos, or are you going to do like a Patreon? I swear to God, like everybody nowadays, that's all they do. Like they have Patreons for everything. And like I posted on Twitter, I think a couple of different times. I feel like I'm interneting wrong. Like I don't do Patreon, and I've toyed with the idea. Who knows, maybe I'll get crazy and try it one of these days, but I don't know. Like I don't necessarily know that I need, it's not like I'm hurting for money, other than the cheap recording software that I get and then the obscene amount of games that I end up buying. There's no other real cost to it. You have a decent headset. I'm using the PX22s, the Turtle Beach PX22 headset that I've also reviewed on the channel. That's what I'm using to record this video and these games and stuff. I'm not paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to do this stuff. I mean, I'm just doing this, like I said, the ghetto recording style. You just hook up some stuff that sounds halfway decent and go. Would it be cool to earn money doing it? Yeah, it would. And if people would be interested or willing to support me via Patreon, you can always let me know. And I can see, I can look into it, and I can see if I can give you guys, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I could look into some other, bonus video guys, exclusives for you guys. I don't know. I haven't ruled it out, but I don't know that I want to deal with all that. I don't know, but like I said, everyone's asking for Patreon for everything, either Patreon or GoFundMe. So it's like, well, man, if I gotta, do I gotta be like everybody else and just give me money? I don't know that I do, you know? But leave that thought for another day. Anyway, this video's getting along again. I just wanted to give you an update on what's going on, some upcoming content, and a little bit of how I record and upload videos for the channel. So hope this answers many people's questions. I've kind of written comment replies, but hopefully this gives you more of a hands-on look at how I do it. So hope you guys found it helpful. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. And please join the Illegally Sighted Steam Group and check out the curators list. And yeah, check that out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. Join the Steam group. And until next time, I will talk to you guys again later.